Huge changes to Overwatch are finally here, and what is viable and ranked is dramatically different. So in this guide, we're going to be breaking down the top 10 big winners of the new meta so that you can have the competitive edge going forward. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? Now, before we get started, let's lay down some ground rules for this list. Because of the lack of pro play, we're not going to have a defined meta for quite some time. This means individually strong characters will have much more impact, and you'll have way more opportunity to make plays on them. As such, this list will go over the big winners for ranked play that you could start playing immediately in your ranked games and start gaining tons and tons of SR ahead of the curve. With all that being said, let's jump right into it at number 10, Sombra. Now, Sombra's been held back primarily due to double shield. The problem with Sombra against double shield is it was actually really hard for her to build her ultimate against the tanks. Sombra's ultimate is the most powerful aspect of her kit, and preventing that ultimate charge fast enough means you didn't get EMP enough to win you decisive team fights to make Sombra a viable pick worth running. With a gigantic nerf to shield, Sombra will definitely be much more viable going forward. Those who practice abusing the high ground and consistently being that pressure, building ultimate every single fight, a Sombra can be oppressive to deal with. A Sombra that can build an ultimate every other fight means that there's so much pressure on the enemy to actually win a fight, because one EMP alone can decisively destroy the enemy team. Sombra is a big winner in this new meta, so if you like her playstyle, definitely pick her up. She's going to be much more viable going forward. Now, moving on to our 9th biggest winner in this new meta, Widowmaker. Some of you might be wondering why Widowmaker isn't near the top, and while Widowmaker is going to be extremely powerful in this next meta, honestly, Widow isn't that viable at the majority of the ranks. In order to get the value out of Widow that you need in order to make her the apex predator of all the different DPS, you need to have that mechanical skill that is only accessible to Masters and Grandmaster players. That being said, those of you who put hours and hours into Widow can definitely have a high impact on the character. A reduction in shields altogether make Widow much more viable. In many metas in the past, Widow has been the most dominant DPS in the entire game. Don't sleep on this hero. Due to all of the changes in Overwatch, Widow is very likely to be at the forefront very soon. Now, moving on to our next character, number 8 on our list, we have a support, Ana. Ana has been shut out of the meta for quite some time, with both Lucio and Mora taking the limelight. While other supports are definitely going to be viable, Ana is looking better than she has in a long time. Less barriers means more opportunities for Ana to make nade plays, and also due to the overall nerf of the other predominant supports in the game, Ana is looking much more viable pound for pound in the support category. If you grind and practice the mechanical nuance that Ana brings to the table, she could be one of the hardest carry characters in the entire game. Now, moving on to number 7, we have a winner of the old meta. However, she might be getting even better in this new meta. Many of you might not be excited to hear this, but number 7, we're rocking Mei. Mei's stats are simply unreasonable. Everything about her kit is very powerful, and she's really hard to punish. Particularly tanks and supports are at the absolute mercy of the Mei, and you rely on your DPS to get the Mei off you almost every time. Even if you don't want to main Mei, learning her fundamentals and whipping her out on defensive choke points can get you free teamfight wins or first point holds. For those of you who've been grinding Mei up to this point, don't feel like you have to switch characters. Mei is a big winner of this new meta. And those of you who want to capitalize on tons of free SR and point holds, definitely start to pick up Mei and add her to her arsenal of characters that you play. Now, the true big winners of this new meta are those who go to GameLeap.com. GameLeap.com is packed with advanced guides coming with all the new changes to the new meta so that you're caught up to speed faster than anyone around you. You can use all this sweet knowledge and newfound game sense to pop off again and again. So if you want to be a true big winner at the new meta, come check us out and I hope to see you there. Now, moving on to the 6th best winner at the new meta, this is the tank, Roadhog. Now, due to the buffs, quality of life changes, and the general meta, Roadhog is looking to be much better going forward. Roadhog has always been a shield breaker, and the lack of overall shields in the new meta means that Roadhog can do that job much more consistently. On top of this, his increased ammo capacity means that he's much more consistent as a dueler, and he can definitely have tons of impact in your average rank game. On top of this, Hog is very self-sufficient. He can heal himself up, get key picks, and hard carry solo without any support from his team. Those who become extremely consistent at hitting hog hooks can shut down the enemy plays and make plays themselves again and again. For those who main Roadhog, you're looking to be able to dominate the ranked environment going forward, and for those who don't play Roadhog, look to picking him up, because if you have low synergy between you and the rest of your team, sometimes playing a tank that can just have high impact solo without any team synergy is the best way in order to win games that seemed unwinnable before. Now we've entered top 5 territory, and as such, the 5th best winner of the new meta is Brig. Now, Brig was actually really strong in the past meta, with many streamers able to take up top 100 spots with Brigitte alone. That being said, because of the new armor buff to Overwatch, Brig is looking to be even more powerful going forward in ranked. Brig can have tons of impact by herself and can easily peel for her other supports plus her DPS. She's great against many of the best DPS that want to close the distance, like Doomfist, Reaper, and Mei, and her ultimate is now almost as good as some support ults, with her and her team being able to decisively win a team fight easily with Rally alone. Even if you don't one-trick Brig in every situation, she's going to be the best counter-picking support to swap to in the case of a dominant diver DPS. Genji, Tracer, Doomfist, if any of these DPS are constantly harassing you and killing you over and over again, swapping to Brig can be a way to shut them down and take the matter into your own hands so that you don't get farmed again and again. Don't rely on your tanks or DPS to peel for you when you can swap to this hero and do it all yourself while still emitting tons of value. Brig is definitely looking to be a big winner, especially in ranked play, for getting free SR and honestly winning games against stubborn DPS that one-trick diving heroes into you over and over again. Now moving on to number 4, we have a tank who's actually been silently good for quite some time, but going forward he might be even better. Hammond is the 4th biggest beneficiary of these new changes here in Overwatch. You see, what main tank's true purpose of in each and every game they play is to create space. Creating space can come in different ways, but essentially you're trying to claim the space of the enemy and push them back, so you give a lot more room for movement by your DPS and supports to get in position to have strong heals and do tons of damage. Out of all the tanks in the entire game, Hammond has the highest potential to make the most amount of space. Hammond can easily CC enemies from the high ground, pull them back to point, and make all kinds of plays solo. Because of his adapted shields, his incredible movement speed, and the ability for him to go around the map solo without any resources picking up health packs along the way, Hammond is one of the best solo carry characters in the entire game, and honestly, he is playable with and against a number of different comps. He can be played as a disruptor, a dive engager, or simply for his pound for pound playmaking ability. Hammond is versatile and incredibly strong. That being said, in order to get the value out of Hammond that you need to start grinding him as much as possible, because he is definitely not an easy hero to master. Learning the ins and outs of Hammond and mastering his rollouts and his slam capabilities can help you get high impact in each and every game you play as Hammond and rank up again and again. Hammond is looking to be the best winners of this new meta. Just be very careful of your 2 biggest counters, Sombra and Mei, and you'll dominate games again and again. Now moving on to our top 3 list, we have a support, a tank, and a DPS all occupying the top 3 spots, so there's a little bit for everybody here. Kicking off at number 3 is a support, Baptiste, and Baptiste is looking to be one of the biggest winners in the whole meta. After the nerf to the many of the healers in the game, Baptiste's overall burst healing is immense. He's insanely good at healing up tanks, he's not that mechanically difficult to play, and his actual damage output is still immense. His primary damage dealing fire makes him near a DPS's level of output, and Baptiste can make tons of amazing plays. We rated Baptiste's Immortality Field as the best non-ultimate ability in the entire game because of the value that it emits each and every time you use it. And last but not least, Baptiste gets his ultimate extremely fast in teamfights and can turn a close team fight instantly. He also synergizes insanely well with the next 2 heroes on our list, so be sure to check him out. We have a tank that is looking to be one of the biggest winners in the entire meta, and on top of that, much more fun to play than the majority of tanks in the game. Our second best big winner for the new ranked meta is Reinhardt. While Reinhardt's shield is definitely nerfed, both his movement speed and his CC resistance are extremely buffed. Basically, instead of poking at the choke, Ryan wants to get in there, close the distance fast, and start doing damage and creating space. This plays directly into the most fun aspects of Ryan and definitely utilizes his kit to the maximum effectiveness. Because of Ryan's CC reduction, he's way stronger against boot plays, and Doomfist can't move him around hardly at all. With Ryan definitely seeing tons more play in the upcoming meta, the Ryan v Ryan matchup is going to be the most important matchup going forward. Being able to predict the enemy Ryan's shatter, block his shatter, and counter shatter the enemy team can hard carry whole games of Overwatch, and it's one of the most fun aspects of the main tank v main tank matchup that definitely will come at the forefront of ranked play. If you want to see a video in depth breaking down slow motion Ryan v Ryan battles, smash that like button and let me know in the comments down below. I have to tell you how you can become a big winner in any meta we come across. GameLeap.com is the best place to get you caught up to speed on new metas as quickly as possible. Our site is filled with Grandmaster coaches that want to give you the most in-depth, up-to-date content available. Our website is stacked to the brim with all the changes that you need to know for this meta going forward, so you get the leg up on your competition. Don't take my word for it, GameLeap offers a 10-day money-back guarantee, so come check us out, and I hope to see you there. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Oh wait, I still haven't given you the biggest winner of the new meta. How could I forget? So far, we've given you a list of the top 9 biggest winners with all the changes here in Overwatch. Now, our biggest winner is looking to be one of the best DPS to play at any rank going forward. And that character is none other than Hanzo. You see, Hanzo is just too good at doing everything. He can dual DPS. He has insane movement, flank capabilities, he can bust shields and tanks. There's really nothing that Hanzo can't do. In every single game you're in, a well-played Hanzo will have some of the highest impact in the entire game. Because of Hanzo's low skill floor, he's actually playable at every rank and he scales very proportionate to your skill level. This means don't feel bad about picking up Hanzo in Bronze and playing him all the way to GM. Hanzo will be viable and Hanzo will definitely be able to hard carry in tons of games. Now, because this is the best character on the list, we'll give you the biggest tip that you need to know on Hanzo before we go. What you need to do on Hanzo is go where you're needed and play the role that you're needed to play in every single match. If your tanks are getting easily run over every single fight, maybe you need to play the front line, focus shield health, and put tons of pressure on the enemy tanks. Then they can't take space and push up on your tanks over and over again. Maybe your tanks are holding your own, but you're having a hard time bursting through. Making a flank play on Hanzo can be one of the best ways to secure a point easily by getting a couple of headshots from a flank angle. Understanding your role on Hanzo and becoming adaptable is the best way to be on Hanzo. Also, grinding that mechanical skill so you hit every single easy shot consistently, and you'll be well on your way going straight to Grandmasters with this new meta. Anyways, that's really all I have for you today. Any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Agree or disagree with my list? I would love to hear your big winners in the meta in the comments down below. I'm Coach Mills, and until next time.